There was a time, long before empires rose and kings carved their names in stone, a time when shadows whispered across marble walls, and the sky was not silent. In this world, the gods walked among men. Their presence was not a myth, it was reality. This was Rome. A civilization that believed destiny was guided not by chance, but by the will of the divine. They say the heavens were ruled by a king of thunder, a guardian of justice, honor, and law. His voice was the storm itself. His gaze, the light that broke through the clouds. His name was Jupiter. But Jupiter was not alone. Around him stood a pantheon of beings powerful, eternal, and deeply woven into the fate of Rome. These were not just gods. They were identity. They were destiny. They were Rome itself. Imagine a mountain peak kissed by lightning, clouds swirling like curtains of smoke. And upon a throne carved of pure sky, a king watches the world below. Jupiter, Lord of the heavens. He was more than a ruler. He was the law that bound reality itself. To the Romans, he was the protector, the one who watched over armies, kings, and oaths sworn in temples. When a soldier lifted his sword and promised loyalty, he whispered Jupiter's name. For Rome believed, a nation stands strong only when honor stands unbroken, and Jupiter was honor given form. But where there is a king, there is a queen, Juno. Not a goddess of beauty or flirtation, but of marriage, dignity, and the sacred bond of family. Her presence was felt in every home, every wedding vow, every newborn's first cry. She was not soft, she was fierce, protective, powerful. For Rome believed family was the core of civilization. Break the home and you break the empire. Juno ensured that never happened. If Jupiter was honor, then Mars was strength. But not the wild, uncontrolled rage of war. No, to the Romans, Mars was discipline, power, courage held like a blade, duty before personal desire. And it was Mars who became the father of Rome. From his bloodline came Romulus, the founder of the eternal city. And so Rome believed, our strength is divine. Every victory, every conquest, every banner that flew under the burning sun carried the heartbeat of Mars. Yet war and honor are not enough to build a world. There must also be love, softness, the warmth that draws life forward. This was Venus, goddess of beauty, of affection, of the magnetic pull that binds hearts and empires alike. But her role was far greater than desire. Through her son Aeneas, the hero who fled the ashes of Troy, she became the divine mother of Rome itself. Rome did not just fight. Rome did not just conquer. Rome believed it was chosen, born from the tears of loss and the hope of beginning again. Aeneas carried a promise, from sorrow shall rise an empire eternal. And he did. In the heart of Rome a fire burned, not for warmth, not for cooking, not for light, but for the soul of the city. This flame belonged to Vesta, the goddess of the hearth. As long as her fire burned, Rome would endure. So priestesses known as the Vestal Virgins tended the flame day and night, never letting it die. For if the fire faded, it meant Rome's destiny would fade with it. And so, the flame never went out. Unlike many civilizations, Rome believed their relationship with the gods was a contract. Honor them, respect them, offer to them, and they would protect the city. Disrespect them, break your oaths, live with arrogance, and downfall was certain. This belief shaped everything, their laws, their wars, their families, their purpose. And so Rome rose, brick by brick, stone by stone. Dream by dream. The gods may no longer walk among us. Their temples may be ruins now, their statues cracked and weathered by time, but their stories remain, whispered in books, painted in art, echoed in the very languages we speak. For Rome did not simply build an empire of land. Rome built an empire of memory, of ideas, of belief in destiny. And every moment you stand firm, hold your dignity, keep your word, fight for what you love. A spark of an ancient world still lives within you. The flame of Vesta still burns. There was a time, long before the world was carved into nations and kingdoms, before marble temples gleamed beneath the sun, before soldiers marched in formation beneath banners of crimson and gold. There was silence. And in that silence, the universe breathed for the first time. From that breath came the gods, beings of light, of thunder, of earth, of love, of rage, each one shaping the world not with hands but with will. The sky shimmered with their presence, the seas trembled at their footsteps, and the mountains stood as monuments to their power. Among these immortal forces stood Rome. But Rome did not begin as stone, nor as empire. It began as belief. A belief that destiny is not random, that fate is not accidental, that life is guided by something greater. The Romans lived their lives under the watchful gaze of the gods. And in return, they built temples, lit fires, whispered prayers, and shaped the world with discipline, honor, and faith. This is their story. The story of a people who believed that gods did not merely exist, they walked with men. Above the clouds, high upon the throne of the heavens, sat Jupiter, the king of all gods. His voice was thunder, his anger lightning, his gaze the very sun that broke the horizon at dawn. When storms rolled across the sky, the Romans did not fear. They listened, for they believed Jupiter was speaking, reminding them that justice rules all things. For Rome was not built by strength alone. It was built upon law, order, the sacred promise that every oath sworn carried the weight of heaven itself. A soldier kneeling before his general, a father blessing his children, a senator speaking in the forum, all invoked Jupiter. Because to break your word was to challenge the king of the sky, and no man, no matter how powerful, could stand against thunder. Beside Jupiter stood Juno, queen of the gods. Not gentle, not soft, but regal, carved from dignity itself. She guarded the sanctity of family, the bond between husband and wife, the innocence of children, the sacred flame of the home. Rome believed that if the family remained strong, the empire would endure. So every birth, every wedding, every household was a temple in her honor. The Romans feared her anger, yes, for she was relentless in her protection, but they loved her too, because she was proof that strength can be graceful and power can be loving. Then there was Mars, not the chaotic god of senseless bloodshed. No, iron carved into the shape of resolve. He was the heartbeat of every legionary marching across the earth, the courage in the chest of every defender of the city, the fire that did not waver in the darkest hour. And it was Mars who became the father of Rome, for from his line came Romulus, the wolf-raised founder of the eternal city. Rome believed we were not merely born, we were chosen. So every battle fought, every victory claimed, every mile of land brought under Roman rule was not conquest. It was destiny. But empires are not forged by war alone. There must be love, hope, beauty, the quiet warmth that brings life into motion. This was Venus. She was the gentle breeze upon blooming fields, the soft glow of dawn across the horizon, the spark in the eyes of lovers who find one another in a world of chaos. But Venus was more than beauty. She was motherhood. She was new beginnings. Her son Aeneas fled the flames of Troy, carrying with him the grief of a lost homeland, yet also the seed of a new one. Through heartbreak he walked, across seas, through storms, across lands unknown, till he reached Italy, and there his lineage would become Rome. From sorrow rose eternity. In the heart of Rome there stood a temple unlike any other, silent, cylindrical, simple in form, yet infinite in meaning. Inside burned a fire, not for warmth, not for light, but for the soul of the city. This was the sacred flame of Vesta, goddess of the hearth. As long as her fire burned, Rome would stand. So priestesses called the Vestal Virgins tended the flame day and night, never allowing it to die. For if the flame extinguished, Rome's destiny would fall into darkness, and so the flame was eternal. Rome believed something powerful. The gods did not demand worship. They demanded respect. In return, they offered protection. It was a contract between mankind and the divine. Honor the gods, and the city thrives. Forget the gods, and ruin follows. This belief shaped everything Rome ever became. Their discipline, their philosophy, their courage, their architecture, their laws, their empire. Rome did not rise by accident. And belief is the most powerful force in the world. The temples are ruined. The empire fallen to dust and time, but the stories remain in our language, in our art, in the names of the planets above us, in the silent flame of purpose that burns in every human heart. For Rome did not merely build an empire of land. Rome built an empire of memory, of identity, of the belief that humans are not powerless. We are shaped by destiny, and we shape destiny in return. So when you hold to honor, when you protect your family, when you stand unbroken in the face of hardship, you carry the spirit of Rome, and the flame of Vesta still burns in you and you.